and welcome. Let's get started. The casting on in today's pattern will determine the nature of our project, so before we do that, I'd like us all to take a moment with our yarn. For the next minute or so, I'd like you to hold your yarn and think about why you picked it for today's project. Was it the feel of it? The color? Is there no reason at all? I chose this yarn today because lately I've been thinking about snow, how it falls, how it feels. Now that you've spent your own time with your yarn, we're going to cast on. Today we are using a technique that I've never formally learned. If there is a name for this stitch, please do not tell me. The first step in this pattern is to cast on for as long as you cried the first time you had your heart broken. An estimate will do if you don't know exactly. I started mine but finished it off camera. It was kind of a long time. But feel free to pause this video, take your time casting on, and remembering what it felt like to hurt in a place you didn't think could hurt quite like that before. Now that we have cast it on, we are going to slip stitch together the first and last stitches of our chain to make a circle. From here, single crochet in each stitch. As you crochet, try to reconstruct the last dream you had. As many details as you can, beginning to end. When you've reached the end of that dream, remember the one before it. You'll want to keep crocheting for 3 to 5 dreams. For those of you that don't dream, you can substitute 7 to 9 daydreams. I've been having trouble sleeping the past few nights. The snow has been falling thick throughout the day and night since last week. And at night, the layers create this deafening silence that seeps in through my curtains and under my blankets and into me. I imagine the snow falling on top of me, growing heavier in increments too small to perceive until they are already crushing me. I came across a term the other week that I hadn't heard before. Marine snow. I could imagine what it looked like. Little pieces of white floating in dark water, visible in diluted light beams like dust motes in afternoon sunlight. I walked outside, into the snow falling outside my window, and I knew what it was made of. I could taste on my tongue the water, air, coldness of it. I wondered what marine snow tasted like. What was it made of? Later that day, I opened my encyclopedia to the entry for marine snow. Marine snow, the natural process through which organic debris sinks to the bottom of the ocean floor. And then I realized everything that lives in water dies in water and breaks down in water, full bodies to small, floating flakes of flesh, alternately falling and suspended, traveling for unknown eternities, eventually succumbing to the slow pull of gravity, settling on the deep floors of the world, nourishing the dark creatures at the edges of our knowledge. I imagined large, floating animals made of solid ice, far, far above my head, breaking down as they fell, silently, ending as snowflakes melting into my own flesh. We're nearing the end of our project today, but before we cast off, it's very important to sing to your project for the last few rounds. Preferably a folk song or lullaby your mother sang to you as a child, but any song that feels more like a sepia-tone memory than notes will do.
Rose, rose, rose red, will I ever see thee wed? I will marry at thy wed. I will marry at thy wed. I will marry at my will, sire, at my will.
Now we are going to begin casting off. Here you can choose to keep your circle open or close it. Today I'm going to close it and seal in everything I've thought and felt and said in the time that I've been crocheting. And this is what I made today. One of my favorite things about this pattern is how individual it is. If you choose to follow along today, I'm sure your final project will turn out very, very different. I think I like how today's turned out for me. It feels cold to the touch, and the weight of it in my hands has a comfort to it. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you like how today's project turned out for you. Remember to look above you the next time it snows and imagine the creatures your snowflakes are made of.